Hello friends, I am Satpal Verma here from Department of English, Government National College, Sirsa. Today we are going to discuss the chapter Great Books Born Out of Great Minds, written by Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. This chapter has been taken from the book Prescribed for Your Syllabus, Literature and Language, Part 1. So, first of all, let's talk about the author. Dear students, the author of this chapter is Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, who has served as the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. Dr. Abdul Kalam was born and brought up in Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. He was a student of physics at St. Joseph's College and of aerospace engineering at the Madras Institute of Technology, that is MIT, Chennai. He worked as an aerospace engineer with Defense Research and Development Organization, also known as DRDO, and Indian Space Research Organization, also called ISRO. Friends, Dr. Kalam was popularly known as the Missile Man of India for his work on the development of ballistic missile and launch vehicle technology. He played a central technological and political role on India's Pokhran second nuclear test in the year 1998. So I think it is enough about the author. And Dr. Kalam was, Bharat Ratna awardee, and his full name was Abul Pakir Jinulabuddin Abdul Kalam, and he is referred to as Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. He is also called, the Missile Man of India. So you should keep these things in mind, and he was very famous among every age group of people, and especially the youth of the world. So let's talk about the essay. The essay Great Books Born Out of Great Minds is an abridged version of an address by Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. Abridged means that is shortened form, abridged version, that is shortened form of an address or a speech that Dr. Kalam delivered on December 7, 2013 at the Lucknow Literature Carnival, and this address is highly motivating and inspirational for the young authors and budding writers. And he has discussed many things, many points in this chapter or in this speech or in this essay, and we shall discuss them one by one. So let's start the reading of this chapter, and as I told you earlier that we will discuss only important passages from the text. So in the beginning of this chapter, the author talks about reading habits. Reading habits from young age and continuous acquisition of knowledge through books indeed make human beings appreciate multiple aspects of societal life and become autonomous learner. So reading habits. So if one has acquired, one has got the reading habits, and he goes on reading the books, so he will naturally acquire acquisition of knowledge. Acquisition means acquire. He will naturally acquire continuous knowledge through books, by reading books, and indeed make human beings, if he acquires knowledge continuously, then he will be in a position to appreciate, that is to admire, multiple aspects of societal life. He will be in a position to admire or to appreciate various aspects of social life and in this way he will become an autonomous learner. Autonomous here means independent learner. So what is the benefit of reading habit? That reading habit, if if a person has reading habit from his young age, then first of all he will acquire knowledge continuously through reading of the books, and secondly he will become eligible, or he will become capable of appreciating various aspects of social life or human life, and finally he will become an autonomous learner. So I think this point is clear. Here the author has discussed three things. That first of all, that what he gives the message that we should develop the habit of reading, that is reading books. Number two, and by reading books we will acquire continuous knowledge by reading books, and this habit of reading books will make us capable of appreciating various aspects of society or social life, and finally we will become independent learner. Next, the author talks about culture of excellence. So what is culture of excellence? Excellence means sreshtha, and culture, that is Sanskriti. So sreshtha ki Sanskriti. So how to develop? Excellence is never by accident. That is, the author means to say that you cannot acquire excellence, or you cannot attain excellence by accident. Rather, it is a process where individual or organization or nation continuously strive to better themselves. So, excellence is a type of process where nation, individual, or organization, whosoever wants to gain excellence or acquire excellence, he has to strive continuously. He will have to try, he will have to attempt, he will have to make efforts to better themselves. They set the performance standards themselves. Those who strive for excellence, they will have to set performance standards, that what kind of performance they will show. They work on their dreams. They work in order to realize their dreams with focus. They keep their focus on the calculated efforts, means they are ever ready to take risks, and do not deterred by failures, and they are not deterred means discouraged. They are not discouraged by failures. When you try to achieve excellence, it is likely that you will have to face some failures also. So, you should not get discouraged. You should be ever ready to take calculated risk. You should set your performance standard, and then you should work to realize your dreams. Further, they step up their dreams. They also, increase the level of their dreams as they tend to reach the original target. When they are about to reach the original their target, then they increase the level of their dream, and further they increase their performance. They also increase their performance, thereby multiplying their potential. Here mean it is a type of possibility of something happening, or it is also called ability. Means they multiply their ability to do something. If you want to increase your performance, then you will have to multiply your ability as well, that is capability. So this is an ending life cycle. It means that it is a lifelong process, that this is it is not ending, it is an unending life cycle phenomenon. It is a event that goes on throughout one's life. That is, if you want to achieve your excellence, then you will have to work throughout your life. They are not in competition with anyone else. There is no competitor but themselves. This is the culture of excellence. This is called culture of excellence. I think your point has become clear. Next, the author talks about story or storytelling. So first of all, let's talk about its merits. Stories help human navigate life's complex social problems. So what is the benefit of the story? It help human beings navigate means to direct safely life's complex social problem. So let me clarify it. If means suppose if you are um, if you have the habit of reading stories, or if you read stories, then the stories or the habit of reading stories uh, make you capable of navigating life's complex problems. In the stories there are so many problems. So by reading these stories, you become ready to face the complex social problems of your life. Just as flight simulator. Simulator is, dear students, it is an equipment that artificially create a particular set of conditions in order to train somebody to deal with a similar situation in life. If I tell you in Hindi, फ्लाइट सिमुलेटर एक इस तरह का इक्विपमेंट होता है जो कि एक इस तरह की कंडीशन पैदा करता है, आर्टिफिशियल कंडीशन, जिसमें आप ट्रेन हो जाते हो उस प्रॉब्लम को, उस सिचुएशन को फेस करने के लिए, और ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आप अपनी लाइफ में भी फेस कर सकते हो. सो flight simulators prepare the pilots for difficult situations. I think the point has become clear. Next is imagination. Imagination is an awesome evolutionary adaptation. Awesome means very impressive. Evolutionary means developing continuously, developing steadily. It is an adaptation, it is an adjustment, it is an impressive and gradually developing adjustment that allows people, that makes people to teleport, means to move mentally into ability, into ability to experience what to teleport into alternative worlds. Alternative worlds. Yes, dear students, there is some printing error. That imagination is a very impressive, steadily developed adaptation है. It is a type of adjustment that gives permission to human beings to teleport, means to move mentally into an alternative worlds, alternative means a type of different world, you can say. That is, through imagination we can move to another world. And next is imagination gives us the near magical ability. Imagination grants us almost magical ability to experience, to realize what we did not actually realize. So imagination has a great benefit. A story is a thing that does rather than a thing that is. So story is not a thing in itself, rather it works. It is a thing that does, it makes something happen. It is a tool with measurability utility. It is a tool, it is a type of tool which has measurability utility, that it has utility value and that utility can be measured, rather than an object for aesthetic admiration. It is not only an artistic thing that can be, appreciated. No, rather it has utility value. And finally, attention is the reward that listeners bestow on the storyteller. If if there is a storyteller and the listeners listen to his story very attentively, so this is the only reward of the storyteller, and this makes storytelling a central component of leadership. And that is why, if you want to become a leader, or in order to be a successful leader, you must have this talent of telling story. And next we shall talk about your next slide is storytelling or story. Its demerits. What are its disadvantages? इसके नुकसान क्या क्या हैं? What are its negative points? What are its minus points? Storytelling has a darker side too. That storytelling is not without demerits. It makes us vulnerable to conspiracy theories. Vulnerable means weaker. It makes us weaker, or it makes us likely to conspiracy theories. वल्नरेबल मीन्स वैसे होता है कि जो इजीली हर्ट हो जाता है इमोशनली. So the storytelling makes us vulnerable to conspiracy theories. It is likely that we become, or we succumb to conspiracy theories that has been shown, in advertisements or narratives about ourselves that are more truthy than true. More truthy means a truth that is accepted without any proof. So, we may be, entangled in the advertisement or the narratives, and we start imagining about ourselves. So, it is likely that we may be, entrapped in the trap of advertisement and the other stories or the other theories or the narratives, uh, thinking about ourselves. We try to become what we are not actually, and we generally believe them without any proof. I think the idea has become clear. Everything lies in the eyes of the beholder. Everything. Everything lies in the eyes of the beholder means everything depends upon who is watching and what is his attitude. There are so many things that there are we have right, wrong, sin, good, duty, responsibility, hate, love. There are so many things. Now it depends upon the person who is watching, who is seeing the thing, who is looking at the things, whether he picks up the right or wrong, sin or good, love or hate, duty or responsibility. So all this depends upon the beholder. All these things depend upon the audience who is looking. New forms of stories generate their own new sets of problem. If new forms of stories are developed, then it is likely that they will develop much more problem, and much more problems require much more solution. And this goes on. Next we have alternate ARG, alternate reality games. you know Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a space engineer, so he has used so many terms and words of science from the register of science, you can say, and it is very difficult to understand for some of the students. So, alternate reality games. These are games, number one. Number two, they are related to reality. And number three, the reality is not real, rather, it is alternative. That is why alternate reality games. They are interactive. We can interact. Networked, that is, they are network based. Narratives means they are type of stories that use the real world as a platform. These stories use this world as a type of platform, and what do they use? They use Transmedia, that is, trans means beyond. So many types of medias. Transmedia, it means beyond. Transmedia storytelling, you can say it uses storytelling to deliver a story that may be altered by participants' ideas or action. It means that those who are participating in the story, they can change the direction of the story. And if you have seen, if you have watched the movie Ravana, Ravan, by, who is the its hero, we have your Shah Rukh Khan. So the story can be changed, just like we have video games to some extent. So let's move further. In the Towards the end of the chapter, the author talks about life force. The mind of great authors are guided by great life force. Those who are great authors, they are guided by, they are inspired by, they are motivated by, they are directed by life force. And the author here talks about two, three authors. Great author Johann Wolfgang Goethe could create all times great epic. He had composed all time, that is very, very famous, you can say, very great. That is, it has been considered great all the times, that past, present, and future as well. So, what was the name of the epic? Faust. And next, the author talks about Sir William Shakespeare, who could create great musical plays. He was also guided by great life force, and that is why he has composed, 37 plays in all and 154 sonnets. You have read or you will read his sonnets in BA third semester. Both of them were convinced. Both of them were convinced that they could transcend. Transcend means going beyond the past, the present, and the future because of the inherent life force. So, William Shakespeare and Johann Wolfgang Goethe, they were fully convinced that they were in a position to transcend, to go beyond the past, the present, and the future only because of the life force. And next author talks about Maharshi Valmiki, the great Indian epic master, who evolved, who developed the classical story of the Ramayana, that is Ramayana in Hindi, that stands for the past, the present, and the future. The teachings of the Ramayana, the values discussed in the Ramayana are applicable for the past, the present, and the future. Valmiki himself agreed that a divine force helped him evolve the Ramayana, that he could compose Ramayana only because of the inspiration that he got from divine force. So, and there is always the life force or divine force that is always to help you whenever a great epic is to be composed. So each one of us are born with this divine life force. Each one of us is born with the divine life force, but it gets diluted and gets lost as life goes on, as we become older, as we grew. जो ही हम बढ़े आगे, this divine life force got diluted. ऐसा हुआ है लोगों में जो बूढ़े हुए, उन्होंने कहा that as we grew older, जो ही हम बूढ़े हुए, the life force got diluted. But the author is using here, in the present indefinite, that the life force gets diluted, life force gets lost, life force becomes weaker and gets lost also as life goes on, as we become older. Only a few souls fully concentrate. There are only a few souls who are in a position to concentrate and use this life force. And those who use this life force fully, they are in a position to compose great epics. And finally, Dr. Abdul Kalam sums up with the message: you have this mighty force within you. Mighty force, that is this divine force, this life force, it is within you. You have to assemble it, you have to collect it, and then you have to concentrate, you have to focus, and then use it through imagination, for imagination, by using your imagination, and create great work. And then you will be in a position to create, to compose great work. So this is all about great books born out of great minds. These students, due to some printing errors, some of the points uh, were explained, but they could not be explained as early. I took time, you have seen during the reading of this chapter, and the author has talked about your reading habit, and then the author talks about your stories, that is your storytelling, what are its merits, what are its demerits. The author also talks about your divine life force, or the life force, and this life force is inherent in every individual, so you have to use it. And whosoever finally uses this life force becomes a great writer. He finally composes a great work of art. And towards the end of the chapter, the author persuades the youth, asserts the youth, exerts the youth to assemble the life force and to concentrate and to use it through imagination so as to create great work. Now let's discuss your important question. Dear students, after reading this chapter, you must be in a position to answer these questions. These are basic questions. What makes human autonomous learner? What makes human autonomous learner? It has been explained in the very beginning. How can one achieve culture of excellence? Means how to achieve the culture of excellence. What is required? It has been discussed in the second passage, that is fostering culture of excellence. I have discussed in detail. How do stories help us? It has been discussed in passage 3. How do stories help us? That is, it is related to your merit of the stories. Who evolved first? Who evolved first means who composed first, you can say. Who wrote first? Who developed first? It is a classical epic. And next is who evolved the Ramayana? Who evolved Ramayana means who wrote Ramayana. You have to write the author of the Ramayana. What is life force? What is life force? Life force and the divine force, it is the same. The word life force has been used by your Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and Goethe and William Shakespeare have also used the term life force, while Valmiki has used the term divine force. So it is the same. So what is life force? So dear students, you can read the chapter. In case of any doubt, you can ask me, and I am always here to help you. In the next video, we shall come with a different chapter, different discussion. So till then, take care of yourself and your family. Keep reading. Be a continuous reader. Develop the habit of book reading, and it will surely help you. You will surely acquire knowledge. You will be in a position to appreciate multiple aspects of social life, and you will become autonomous learner. So thank you for watching. Okay, all the best.